on the barren, war-torn plains of Jakku. Sergeant Tarkin Kyrell stood among the wreckage of the latest skirmish. The air was thick with the smell of burning metal and scorched earth. He had seen countless battles, each one blurring into the next. A veteran stormtrooper, Tarkin had long suppressed his doubts about the Empire. But today, as he watched a group of civilians being rounded up by his squad, something inside him snapped. Tarkin had always been a loyal soldier. Born on Coruscant, he was indoctrinated from a young age, believing in the Empire's promise of order and stability. He excelled in the Imperial Academy, earning his place among the elite ranks of stormtroopers. However, over the years, he witnessed numerous atrocities committed in the name of the Emperor. Each incident planted a seed of doubt in his mind, but his sense of duty kept him in line. On Jakku, those seeds began to grow. The civilians his squad had captured were nothing more than farmers and their families, accused of aiding the Rebel Alliance. As Tarkin watched an officer interrogate a terrified child, he felt a wave of disgust. The Empire had promised peace and security, but all he saw now was tyranny and fear. That night, unable to sleep, Tarkin made a decision that would change his life forever. He would defect. The idea terrified him. Desertion was punishable by death, but he could no longer ignore his conscience. He had to find a way to escape and join the rebellion. Tarkin's first step was to gather intelligence. He spent weeks secretly observing the movements of his fellow stormtroopers and officers, memorizing patrol schedules and security protocols. He also began to hoard supplies. A stolen blaster here, a pilfered ration pack there. Every night, he added a little more to his hidden cache, always careful to avoid arousing suspicion. One moonless night, Tarkin made his move. He donned a stolen officer's uniform and used forged credentials to access the motor pool. His heart pounded as he approached a speeder bike, praying that no one would question him. Luck was on his side. He managed to start the bike and race away from the base without incident. It didn't take long for the Empire to mobilize. Within hours, Tarkin's absence was noticed, and a bounty was placed on his head. Imperial scouts scoured the desert, and bounty hunters were alerted to his presence. Tarkin pushed his speeder bike to its limits, knowing that every second counted. After 2 days of relentless travel, Tarkin's bike ran out of fuel. Stranded in the middle of nowhere, he continued on foot, guided only by the stars and a stolen map. Exhausted and dehydrated, he stumbled upon a small village. He knew it was risky, but he needed help. In the village, Tarkin encountered a group of locals who, to his surprise, were sympathetic to the rebel cause. They provided him with food, water, and a place to rest. Among them was a young woman named Lyra, whose brother had been killed by the Empire. Lyra's kindness and determination reignited Tarkin's resolve. She offered to guide him to the rebel outpost, knowing the desert well and having contacts among the local resistance. After several grueling days, they reached the outskirts of the rebel outpost. Tarkin's relief was short-lived. An Imperial probe droid had detected their presence. With time running out, Lyra led him through a series of hidden tunnels used by the resistance. Inside the outpost, Tarkin was met with suspicion. The rebels were wary of defectors, fearing Imperial spies. However, Lyra vouched for him, and Tarkin provided valuable information about the Empire's operations. Slowly, he earned their trust. Tarkin's knowledge and experience proved invaluable to the rebellion. He participated in several successful missions, helping to sabotage Imperial supply lines and gather intelligence. He also began training rebel soldiers, sharing his expertise to strengthen their forces. Despite his contributions, Tarkin struggled with guilt and self-doubt. He had spent years serving the Empire, and the memories of his actions haunted him. It was Lyra who helped him find peace, reminding him that redemption was possible through his current actions. As months passed, Tolkien found a new sense of purpose. He was no longer a pawn of the Empire. He was a fighter for freedom, determined to make amends for his past. The bonds he formed with his new comrades gave him strength, and he finally felt he was on the right side of the fight.